Howdy doody. Welcome back to the ranch. My name is Mick. This behind me and in front of me is my 7 acres of garbage land. A couple months back I purchased this 7 acres, balling on a budget because this place is in absolutely decrepit shape, and it is my large aspiration to make this place something to look at. The official Nock Ranch, if you will. However, I don't have the proper equipment to do so. It's going to take some heavy equipment, which today I am finally getting some dropped off, starting with a PC 138 excavator, and boy howdy, am I excited. So let's get started. Well, ain't that a pretty sight? First step of this whole operation is to do a general cleanup of what I call my back 40. This whole back area, it's about 4 acres worth of land. If you're familiar with the channel, you've heard me talk about the vast land of garbage at this property. If you're new here, it is a total garbage pit. They used it for a dump for many years, storing equipment here, running an excavation business. Basically, the whole property is asphalt millings, and then it's lined with this garbage, topsoil filled dirt, basically as security, you know, so you can't see anything back here because it's all hidden. So first step of this process is going to be just a general cleanup, moving things like this log pile, because I would like to put a container shop right here. 2 containers with a roof over it. I have pretty easy access to pulling power from the pole by my house across the creek here. In order to do that, my boss was nice enough to loan me this PC 138. Thank you to my boss. He doesn't watch these. Thank you. I'm sure if you're familiar with the channel, you've seen KMU plastered over everything that I use, because that's where I work. Don't creep on me. But if you're a homeowner or a commercial type who needs earthwork done, any sort of underground utilities or earthwork, that's what we do. Don't hesitate to call my office. Don't call me. Anyway, that's a shameless plug for my boss for letting me use this stuff. I have a week with this excavator, and then I have a weekend with some more equipment in order to put the driveway in my house. But for right now, we're focusing on the dump. I'm running out of daylight. I have my light plant here that I'm going to be using, one of the 2. I haven't gotten the other one running yet, but that should help out for, you know, getting into the dusk hours so I can make the most out of the time that I have with this equipment. The plan is to put a container shop right here. It's good solid ground. I would like to eventually put my shop way over there where the dry van trailer is and the Peterbilt. Unfortunately, I discovered that that whole area is built up with garbage fill. Surprise, surprise. That is a project for another year, quite frankly. This is good solid ground over here from what I know. It has a good base of millings on it, and I don't see any sort of sign of settling or buried garbage underneath the surface. So I'd like to prep this area. By doing that, I'm going to move this pile of logs. Could I light it on fire? Maybe, but it's so rotten and so old. I don't really know how long that would take, quite frankly. So I'm just going to pile up in the corner, just start another pile, and then I can, over time, pull from it and burn it if I have the time to do so. So that's going to be step one. As far as what else is back here on where I'm planning on starting like a stockpile for future, just to store all the stuff that's already here. Obviously, I already started a little pile of tires over there. That's what I dug out from where I want to put my shop. Tire graveyard right underneath where I'd like to put the future shop. So that's unfortunate, but that's the pile where I'm sure I'm going to keep adding on to, because it is just tires galore back here. Every which way you look, there's tires. There's a little concrete rubble pile here and some brick. So I think I might consolidate that into one pile and keep adding to it, because there's a whole nother pile of brick and concrete rubble up by where the future shop is going. So I'll bring that back here, put that in a pile. There's some big RCP, reinforced concrete pipes sitting back here. I'm not going to get rid of, quite frankly. I could probably use it for something creative in the future, you know, just as like a fun tunnel through the property or something. There's a whole nother pile of concrete pipe in the front over where the future shop is going. So I'll consolidate all the pipe basically where that existing pipe is, just make a big pile out of that. And the other thing that we got going here is some big old boulders. Looks like there's some riprap size stone sitting over there. I can consolidate that. This concrete pile I can put in the back where I was talking about earlier. And that's what we're going to do for now until my help and my other equipment arrives to do the driveway. The other thing that I would like to do while I have this equipment is get to work on my crap fill barrier that I have here. I would like to open this up. I've talked about this in a previous episode. I'd really like to peel all this out and expose the creek that's right here. As you can see, I already kind of did that when I had my mini excavator. This little opening took me hours to do with a PC 45, I think it was. You know, and obviously I wasn't doing this as a permanent thing, you know. I didn't bench this back at all or anything, so we're starting to slough off, and that's fine, you know, I expected that. But I want to expose this creek and put in a little bridgeway to my house. Quite a few of you had a concern about the creek, and oh, that bank is built up so in case of flooding, you know, it holds the water back. I've said this multiple times. Y'all aren't listening. I am not in a flood zone here. This creek is a glorified creek. Oh, look, I got mallards back here. I got a wide angle lens on, so you probably can't see them all that well, but they're sitting over there. Anyway, this creek is a glorified creek. It's not actually a creek. What you're looking at right now is about as high as it ever gets. We've had a lot of rain recently and all the snow melt. Quite frankly, we had a huge rain event for about 3 days straight. That melted a bunch of snow as well, all the snow that we had from the winter. And it got about as high as that pipe. Further down the line, you know, it's all regulated by FEMA and all that stuff, but this portion is not. Also, further expanding on that, the bank that's built up, like the big bank, is on the equipment side. The side where you would want to protect a house from flooding is this side, and this is the bank on this side. But this is like 12, 14 foot. And no, it is not holding back the water. There are multiple pieces of corrugated pipe that are put in that pile to let the water drain from the yard into the creek. You get what I'm saying? So, no, I'm not worried about flooding. So, getting back to my plan, I want to peel out this section of bank, probably up to that big tree right there. I wish I was better at tree terminology so I could tell you what it is, but I don't know what kind of tree that is.
You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
And then I'm probably going to peel this side back to that big tree right there, just so I have a decent size opening where I can look out my window in the morning and see out to my garbage land. Future plans with this is to use all this dirt to give myself some rolling hills back here and make it an actual scenic backyard, have some animals running around eventually, and yada yada yada. So that's the plan. I'm burning daylight here, so I'm gonna hop in the operator's chair and get to work. And at this point I am rambling, and if you're still listening, thank you. Also, fair warning, I am not an operator by trade. Yes, I work at a excavation business. I never sit in the operator's chair. I'm an office guy. So yeah, I get my fair share of time in the equipment for fun, but I don't do it for a living. So don't judge my operating skills. I'm dangerous, but I'm not that great. Let's get to work, quit the yapping. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to cleaning up this place ever since I moved in. So let's fire this thing up and get to work. This side, that way I can put the logs over there. I'll probably kind of focus on centering right here. As you can see, I don't really have a plan. I'm just kind of whatever feels right, so things might change. I've never operated this PC-138, so I gotta get a feel for it. That was a little aggressive. I probably gotta slow down a little bit.
coffee, I'd say doubles. Black coffee, I'm in trouble. Black coffee, I'd say doubles. Black coffee, I'd say doubles.
All right, I'm gonna go dump this garbage, and then we're pretty much getting to the point where I need to fire up that light plant.
Black coffee, I'd say doubles.
Good morning. Let me grab my glasses. A little more nippy this morning,
Bit nipply out. I mean nippy out.
but that's okay. No rain forecasted for today, and we were supposed to get rain. So, very happy about that. So, had a good night last night. Got a good chunk of this organized back here. But today I plan on hitting the heaviest task, which is going to be this pile of logs.
Not a log. I don't have a log, but I mean, you know, if I had a log.
I would imagine that what's sitting here is an accumulation of multiple very, very large trees, as you could see by this trunk here. You know, not the biggest trees in the world, but fairly large, that is for certain. I went ahead and loaded up just late at night, loaded up one load of logs in my single axle just to see how it was gonna go, see if I was really gonna be struggling without a thumb on this machine. I think it's gonna be slow go, but I think it's gonna be doable. I was thinking last night about plan of attack, and I think this dump truck is really just going to struggle back in this corner in the mud. Here it wasn't too bad because there's still a good amount of millings, but back in that corner it gets really soft. So I might think about firing up the Peterbilt this morning and seeing how loading the logs on my equipment trailer goes. Again, if I had all the equipment in the world and I were doing it the right way, this wouldn't be the way that I would be doing it if I wanted to be productive at all. But I'm working with what I got. I have a 138 and I have a dump truck and I have a equipment trailer on my Peterbilt. That's all and I have a skid steer. That's all the functional equipment that I have to work with. So I think I'm gonna fire up the Peterbilt, see how it goes loading the logs on the trailer, and then I can just track over and shove them off and organize them in a pile over in the corner. If that's not going as well as what the dump truck production would be, then I'll switch back over and try it out. See how this thing does. Hasn't been started in a minute. She wants to play today. It's one of my favorite machines to start. start. Next up on the list, gotta go start that dump truck. All right, St. Nick, you're up, buddy. He wants to play. Last but not least, I don't have any worry at all. This is going to start up and it's probably going to be a little uneventful, but we'll watch it anyway. Ah, that reliable power that you probably can't hear over the truck. I'll tell you what, first impressions with this thing, it handles really smooth, especially with that ditch bucket. Kind of nice. I might swap over to a tooth bucket today, handling the other concrete, just to see how I like scooping up concrete with a 4-foot tooth bucket. I don't know. I don't have a preference at this point, so we'll try it out, see what I like. It's also starting to rain a little bit. I don't think it's going to stay, though. I think it's just a quick little passing. Probably just a sprinkle. Doesn't work, then I'm honestly going to resort to just pulling a group of logs at a time, because again, I got to get this done. I got to get it done with what I got, so we're gonna see how it goes. Might be better off just rolling over there. Got it. She gonna be heavy though. I don't want to just plop it down. I also have a okay. I mean, it's not the biggest pile in the world. If I talk about semi-loads here, I might have 10 loads or something. It might take me all day, but that's the time that I have set aside for today anyway, to do this. Shutting this camera down. It's actually starting to rain now. I hope it goes away. But I'll have the GoPro running still. So much for no snow. Or no rain. It's sleeting now. Wiper actually works. Yeah, not bad. Now the only other worry I have is hopefully the logs made it far enough where I'm not going to get caught pulling out. I don't think I will, but one way to find out. Yep, definitely got caught. Let's see if I can. So I just did a load, if you will, just grabbing and dragging it back. And I'll be honest, it's a little unorthodox, but especially for the bigger logs, it's definitely more efficient than loading them on the trailer, getting the trailer back there, getting the truck unstuck. I gave it a shove and off she went. I got the truck sitting over there now. We're gonna do the rest of this just dragging it. This is where it's really proving to be more necessary for a dozer, but again, this is all I got. So
quit judging me.
So we're just gonna drag it along, you know, just kind of, you'll see. I think in a few hours we'll have all these logs knocked out and tucked away in their corners, so that's what we're gonna do. This one I might be able to get behind and just roll. time I set this camera up, it starts snowing again. That is the bulk of it, sitting right there. Actually ended up taking up less of a footprint than I thought it would, and I can clean it up a little bit still. Obviously, I gotta make a pass through here with the dump truck. I've already been loading, you know, a small amount in there, just trying to clean up the mess, but the big logs, the bulk is done. There's another little pile sitting over here. There are some sizable logs in it, but for the most part, it's all just little scrap pieces. So I'll have to clean that up too. But man, look at that. Definitely worked better just doing what I was doing, pulling it along with me. It took 4 main trips. So now I'm probably gonna have another 2 trips here and another trip here, just cleaning up, maybe even 2 trips here. I'm gonna do that off camera, just get this all cleaned up. I can touch this up when I do have a dozer. I can touch it up real quick, just smoothing out grade wise, but I'll get it close here. That didn't take me as long as I thought it would, to be honest. I'm pleased. So I'm gonna get back to work, put the camera down, get it out of the rain, and I'll update you guys when I get this all licked up. Oh, isn't that a sight for sore eyes? I have been dying ever since I moved in here. I've been dying to do that. This is the first project of many that I'm going to be doing over the course of this week that are just going to be so satisfying for me, because I'm staring at all these things that I want to do, but I don't have the proper equipment to do so. Man, it just, that feels good. That feels really, really good. Still need to clean it up quite a bit, but that is all simple stuff that I'm gonna put on the back burner. As far as how long that ended up taking me, it was about 6 hours. I wish I would have done a better job of organizing per load, because at one point the pile just started to form itself and I wasn't really paying attention to where. I got it about where I imagined I wanted it, but I am a little bit further forward than I wanted to be. Essentially, like you see the peak of it right here. I wanted that shifted a little bit further back. If I was really organizing well, I probably could have moved that whole pile another 10 or 15 feet towards my bank there. It's not a huge deal. You know, we're way back here on the property, but this is a permanent thing here. So I wanted to make sure it's as tidy as possible. The nice part is too, it's hiding these tires. I didn't really imagine that. That was just like a good little surprise. And I'm pretty happy about that. My little tire stockpile is now completely hidden. Speaking of hidden, this tall grass here, I'm gonna leave here because when I'm sitting from my house and looking back this way, the grass and rock hide the logs and tires pretty well. The other thing that I did was move these 2 pieces of concrete pipe. Those are now sitting way back there. That's not where I want them permanently, but I can roll them pretty easy with a decent sized piece of equipment. For now, there were 2 stockpiled there already, and I don't have plans of moving this dirt anytime soon. So I just threw the other 2 pieces of pipe there. And my next step that I'm gonna do is move the rest of the concrete pipe, which is over there by that concrete rubble pile. Hopefully before it gets too dark, I will have all the pipe moved, and then working in the dark, I can probably get that concrete moved. So by the end of tonight, I'm hoping to have all that cleaned up and organized. That way tomorrow, I can focus on moving dirt. If it isn't pouring rain, I mean, I guess I can work in the rain, but dirt gets heavy quick when it's wet, you know. I just threw some food in my belly, so I'm good to go for the next 6 hours. Double timing it today, as I will be every day, but this is the weekend, so I'm trying to take advantage. Before I do anything, I want to move that trailer, that garbage trailer, just get it out of the way, and then we're going to start loading up concrete pipe on my equipment trailer here, and hopefully that goes relatively smooth. Night fell quick. I got carried away doing piddly stuff that needed to be done, but it just got in the way. So I am now out of daylight. I haven't started on loading up the concrete pipe. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Quite frankly, that'll be good rain work if it is raining. For now, I am going to make the most of my time and load up this concrete rubble pile, haul it to the back. So over here, I can work with the lights on the machine. Over there, I'm going to fire up the light plant and get that thing cooking. And yeah, I'm tired, but I'd like to chip away at this thing, so that's what I'm gonna do. Boy, oh boy, where does the time go? It's already mid-afternoon. I've been doing a lot of cleaning up all day today. But as you can see behind me, this used to be that concrete rubble pile that we were working on. That's all in the back and organized. Now I got the excavator sitting right here getting ready to haul out this pipe. So we're gonna fire up the Peterbilt and see how that process goes. Another thing that I did while working this morning, it's already 3 o'clock. I mean, I'm rapidly running out of time for this weekend. Another thing that I did while working off camera here was I started digging into all of the piles. There's a number of mysterious, large-sized dirt piles here. In previous episodes, I explained that I think working from left to right, this very large one I was told was topsoil, and then the smaller one next to it, you can kind of see that one is supposed to be clay, and then that mound over there that's a little more green is sweet peat, supposedly. I wasn't planning on digging into these this morning, but I had a little bit of bad news happen, and it kind of prompted me. That bad news has to do with the pile that's directly behind where the concrete was, because I kept digging in concrete, a little bit of garbage, more concrete, bricks. Man, you know, when does this end? This used to be where that junk trailer back there was sitting. So I stuck my bucket in the pile and discovered that this whole pile here, from here and then all the way back to about right here where it turns, this whole thing, garbage. Absolute garbage. My heart sank a little bit, you know, because it's just junk. It's fill dirt with a bunch of crap in it. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, like depth perception wise, but this is just a bunch of fill dirt, and within that fill dirt is just a bunch of garbage. I mean, non-stop. It's all over. That's very unfortunate. I took the excavator up here, crawled around a bit. Keep in mind, I mean, I've done some venturing around here, but I moved in late summer when everything was grown up, you know, for the season. And then we went through a winter where everything had snow on it. So this is my first opportunity to really like look at the property through the trees and weeds and stuff without any leaves on them to really see what's here. And back here is a graveyard, not an actual graveyard, but more garbage. And then this is kind of the peak of the garbage up here. And you look over the hill. Catch basins, more concrete pipe, more tires, crap. Fortunately, there's an ending to it. You know, this little loop here is kind of encapsulated. That's the extent of it. So, oh, a guitar. Look. Slash was here. But like I said, you know, it's not as bad as my heart feared it would be once I started digging into it. I was like, oh my God, is this whole side of the property just garbage? Are all of these piles that they were talking about, you know, back in the day where they were screening topsoil, you know, is all that topsoil just loaded with this junk? Like, is it just junk-filled dirt? And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna crawl around here and look at what we got. And good news. So aside from that, which is manageable, I'm not gonna haul it away from the site. I'm not gonna pay to do that, but I can hide that stuff. I can push it and lose it in future piles, you know, in landscaping and stuff. From what I could tell, it's mostly like plastic and just crap, you know, so, but nothing, no like oil containers or anything like that, which is good, I guess. So I got digging around in here. Oof. Jeez. And here's what I found. This flat spot is about 10 foot above grade and then raises. This is the topsoil. That and the pile next to it is actually clay, and it's good. I mean, it's a little bit sandy if you're familiar with how dirt works. It's good compactable stuff, but it does have a little bit of sandiness to it. Perfectly usable though. I mean, I'm gonna talk to my boss about it and see if we have a project that's in the area. If he wants it, he can have it. Honestly, any help in getting dirt out of this property is going to be welcomed. It's also going to come at a price because it's worth something. You know, you can get a couple bucks a yard. The pile next to it then, so this is more topsoil here, kind of a blend of topsoil and the peat here. So where you see that really dark, almost black color, that's like your planting soil. I find comfort in knowing finally what this dirt is, because that was always a big question mark. Is it going to be usable? Is it just going to be full of garbage? Pleasantly, I'm not going to say surprised, but pleasantly informed, we'll say. So with that, I'm going to fire up the Peterbilt. We're going to back this trailer up to where we have the 138 sitting. Hopefully start loading out some pipe before it gets too dark here. Trains are such a pain. Okay, let's see how that does. You can kind of see my plan here. I'm just gonna chain through each piece of pipe, pick it, and I'm gonna line them up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just winging it, you know. This is gonna work here. It would definitely be nice to have another person for this.
son, how are you? Skies above, gee, it's great to be alive and love.
You know, the branches that you see me pulling off are just dead, but I'd like to see those things live. So, I'm gonna try.
Good morning, son.
Don't give me your safety concerns about crawling around on this pipe. I know, it's not.
Good morning, good morning, son. How are you? Skies above, gee, it's great to be alive and love. Good morning, son. Good morning, life. Good morning, son. How are you? Skies above, gee, it's great to be alive and love. Good morning, son.
That was a workout. That is a full trailer. And if you're wondering how confident I am, I'm not going to get stuck. Well, I really don't know. I'm confident enough that I'm willing to try, but it is awfully soft. Let's see. I'm debating what to do here. That's as far as I can get. I'm really sunk in the ground, so I might be able to get out and retry, but I think the same thing's gonna happen anytime I'm in this area. I wanted to hold back the pipe and drop the gates and let it roll off, but with how low it's sitting, I don't think that's gonna happen, so I'm just kind of debating on what to do here. Could just one by one just flip them off the trailer, slide them off the trailer, and then organize from there. But man, it'd be fun to watch them roll off. I'm gonna try dropping the gates to see if I can do it. Realizing that this isn't gonna work the way that I am dreaming it to. Physics and all. Camera I saw that it died and I almost had a moment of relief because I was walking up to it to say, not my proudest example of operating. Trailer's okay. I obviously don't care about the state of the pipe. I mean, that should be clear at this point. I don't care if they get chipped up and everything. I saw that my camera died. I was like, oh, thank God, maybe maybe the camera didn't catch that crappy example of operating. Alas, you caught it, and I'm gonna leave it in. I'm gonna roll these up, clean them up, put them in that corner just next to those, and then we're gonna go round 2, and there's a lot less pipe over there than this load, so hopefully I should be able to wrap this up before dark. I wised up on this round. Standing them up was a lot easier. All right, today we are going to start focusing on the dirt lining this side of the property in between the creek and my house. I still don't know where I want to put this stuff. What I'd really like to do is get all of this dirt moved back and add to this junk dirt with that. But unfortunately, the season, it's wet. You know, it's very soft back here. And in order to do that, you know, I can climb all over with the excavator and move this pile and then add to it. Unfortunately though, the only way of getting back there with the truck would be driving through this area right here. And it's awfully soft, so I don't know. Even if I got a load or two back there, I think the rutting would be so bad that I would start to get stuck after a couple loads. You know, like I said, if I was lucky enough to even get a couple loads. And this is going to take quite a few loads with that single axle, so I think for now I'm just going to add to this pile, even though this would be another job where it would be great to have a dozer here, but that's what I'm going to do. I already got, you know, all my trucks and things moved out of the way, so I'm ready to start hauling dirt. So let's get this tailgate back on and start loading her up. All right, that's that. Start hauling some dirt. Yeah, I just tried taking a test pass with the truck where I want to take the dirt and immediately got stuck. So I'm gonna go see if I can't clear out a little bit of a path. I don't really know where else I want to take the dirt, you know, so I got to figure this out. Back straight up and got stuck right there. And that's not exactly where I wanted to aim. I actually wanted to aim a little bit more towards this right here, but this has some grade to it, and there's also a hole right off that way and a hole right off that way, so I don't know. if I get stuck here. Yeah, it's gonna be the approach to the area that I cut out is still too soft. So I thought I was gonna be okay through here, but obviously not. I mean, I saw this stone here and I was like, okay, maybe it's solid, but right here, still really, really soft. I think I'm gonna be good, you know, once I hit this, but I'd also really like to find out before I go spending a ton of time cutting in a road just to, you know, once it rains, it's gonna fill up with water because obviously now this is below grade. So, man, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't cut out this section real quick, not spend too much time on it. All right, let's see if she does it. I actually got a load in there because I couldn't reach my pile, so I ended up loading this area here in the truck. So, spring, baby. All right, here we go. Working pretty good so far. We made it. Pretty far back here too. New haul road, who dis? Not sure how this is gonna go, but we're gonna give it a shot. That truck can't haul a lot, so this is probably gonna take a fat minute, but only one way to do it. Already hitting a big piece of concrete. Now it's a party. Tonight. Well, I got a lot done, but I will say it is a slow go. Let's see. It's 11:30. I started before sundown, and this is the pile that we got going on. It's about 3.5 foot tall. Starts about right there. I don't know how many loads I got, but I was running nonstop. So I don't know. I mean, at best I could get 5 buckets in each load, but to be comfortable it was about 4. I mean, it's going. I'll update you on how the pile looks tomorrow in daylight so we can get some eyes on it. But man, what a night. Good night, moon. Here's how far we got. I'm almost embarrassed to show this. Basically, we started from about right here, you know, a little bit past that tree there. And this is where we're at. Now, that's a lot of dirt. I don't know exactly how much. I'll probably try and quantify it and let you know. But yeah, it's just an awful lot of time for getting only that chunk done. Also, the real estate that dirt is taking up. I think I gotta reformat my expectations here about how far we're gonna get, because I'm running out of time until help arrives and I have more equipment, and I'm supposed to be focusing on the driveway portion of the project. Help is coming Saturday morning. It is currently Wednesday evening.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Mind, I work full time, so it's Wednesday evening. But good news is the weekend arrived early for one piece of equipment, and it comes in the form of Pete, the one that her built. It's this one. Tandem dump truck. I am so excited to have this right now. It is going to make this pile move a lot quicker. This is gonna be great. Again, very grateful to my boss for letting me loan this stuff. And I say loan with $0 signs in front of it. You know, he's really helped me out here, just letting me use the stuff as long as I fill it up and take care of it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it slow, make sure I don't break nothing. Let's get back to work. I think it's a Cummins, but I'm not sure. I can look later, but I don't got the time. Komatsu's already running, so you can hear that in the background, but you know. If he ever wanted to sell this thing to me, I'd buy it. She nice. Rough around the edges, you know? Patina. But nice. It's worth mentioning that we strictly use this as an off-road truck. I don't know the last time this was on the road. He had it brought in on a lowboy. She ain't street legal. We are finally getting somewhere. It's looking pretty good. I think that's as far as I'm gonna go, except I might contour this to kind of like roll up and then back down so I can keep this little patch of trees here. One of the drain pipes from this yard that go into the creek, it's right underneath that patch of trees. So I kind of want to leave that, do a little roll over it, expose the big tree, kind of take the bulk out of this and give it some shape. I think I'm going to leave that grade at the creek where it is and kind of taper it back to here and have like the only real dip where I want to put the bridge in the future right here. Kind of clean up this brush a little bit, but leave the trees. And then once I do that, I'm going to hop over to the house side and clean up all the brush. Take out all the brush, leave the little trees that are there. Over here, take out all the brush, kind of expand my grass area into this group of trees here. And from there, this portion's gonna be done. So I got some cleaning up to do, but the bulk move is done. Sweet, I'll keep moving, let you guys know where I get.
Prove it. Just let me see you prove it. Prove it.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna have to bring this one to a close here. This is part one of the property cleanup. Obviously, I'm sitting here in the future right now. That whole week that I was working, you saw about 6 or 7 days of it, and I still have the weekend to go. And that weekend is going to be putting in the driveway up front. So I'm currently editing that video, working to get you guys another one. But the next time you see this place, we are going to be cutting in a driveway up front by the house and cutting in a road back here, what is going to be the area for my container shop. This place has a long, long way to go, but I am so happy to at least have this part done. Looking back in this corner, obviously we have our stockpile of concrete pipe back here. That proved to be a huge job in itself. Not really looking forward to moving that again, but the day will come where that has to get moved again. Our concrete rubble pile, our log pile, at least I am all organized and stockpiled with all the rubbish that was sitting around this place. Obviously, pretty upsetting news finding out about the garbage pile up front, but also not entirely surprised and a little bit relieved to learn that all this dirt back here is actually good, usable material. You know, there was a legitimate fear there that everything under these piles was going to be garbage. So again, very relieved there. The other area that I am just ecstatic to have cleaned up is that front area by the garbage pile. Having all that concrete pipe out of there, that was just such an eyesore. It just looked, it looked terrible. That's your one way in getting back here, and the first thing you see is just garbage right in front of you. So I'm really happy to get all that concrete moved and the concrete pipe moved. That area is now at least decent to look at. You see the little grouping of trees up there, and you know, it's not the worst thing to look at in the world, so pretty happy about that. And then, of course, happy to have this area cut open here. I have a lot of cleaning up to do with all the rain that I was getting. Not to spoil anything, but I pretty much got washed out over the weekend, and my time with the dozer got cut short, so I didn't get to do any of the cleanup back here that I was planning on doing. But we'll go more into depth on that later. But that's okay. It's just going to give me motivation to get my TD14 up there running, and, well, it's running, but steering, because I could really use a dozer right now to clean up this back area. I have a lot left to do. So anyway, I appreciate those of you that stuck around and watched this thing. I don't know exactly how this edit is going to go. Please, if you have suggestions for videos like this where I'm just banging out a bunch of work and trying to get a GoPro in the corner of my cab or whatever, especially when I'm pressed for time. If there's things that you want to see more of, more real-time work and less time-lapse, I tried keeping a healthy mix of both, but trying to keep this video condensed. I mean, I had, just so you know, just in this segment alone, I had 10 hours of footage. That's camera recording time to edit down into this space here, whatever this video ended up being in length. And that was just when the camera was rolling. You know, that doesn't count, obviously, all the time that I had working out here and figuring out when to press the record button. So again, there will be more videos like this, so let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Too much time lapse, not enough real time, or vice versa. But with that, again, I really appreciate all you that are sticking around and watching these videos. It's my hopes that in the future years, you guys can really see this place transform from garbage dump to homestead, essentially. And I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited to share with y'all. So if you could, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. You could follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and the TikTokies. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. But always remember, don't be afraid to grab that wrench, get after it yourself. We'll see you next time.